University, Poland. He is a founding member of Polish Association of Psychology, of Religiosity and Spirituality, and member of Polish Social Psychology Association, an international member of Religion and Spirituality, Social Psychology, and Psychometrics. His research work is on experimental psychology of spirituality and religiosity, role of denomination as a culture, cultural adaptation of methods and cross-cultural studies on measurement equivalence of methods and scale constructions. I request Dr. Yaroslav Piotrovsky to please come on stage for the keynote address.
Hello, good afternoon. Okay, so today I'll be talking about one of our newest research projects. I will be talking about the role of religiosity and spirituality in the military setting. Okay, so I will be, I can survive this one. Okay, so I will be talking in details about the role of spirituality, religiosity, and burnout among members of territorial defense forces. So I will start with some definitions because in the field of religiosity and spirituality psychology, one of the main problems is with definitions. So religiosity can be most easily understood as a personal component of religion. But it brings another problem. If religiosity is a personal component of religion, then what is religion? In fact, there are hundreds, if not thousands, definitions of religion, and even religious scholars cannot agree what religion really is. So I would like to bring some sample understandings of religiosity and show them. So for first, religiosity can be understood as an attachment to given belief system that is shared by given religious tradition, like Christian beliefs, Hindu beliefs, and so on. Second, religion can be understood as a belief shared by given communities, together with all stories told by these communities that are resolving around holy matters, that they are strengthening the bond with the holiness. And also, religion can be understood as a specific system of beliefs and practices that define the relationship between the sacred and the rest of the existence, with individual, society, group, and so on. So as you can see, those are in fact different understanding, and there are more of them. So, for example, in psychology, one of the definitions that exist, one proposed by Bateson, is that religion is everything that a person does to get rid of the fear of death. Of course, this definition may be ridiculed upon because, for example, if someone is afraid of death and drinks a lot of alcohol, then we could say, according to this definition, that the alcohol is his religion. Yeah? So this definition is also not perfect, but it's used quite often. Oh, yet there is not everything, because sometimes religion is not understood as only system of beliefs, but, for example, as a faith and inner feelings related to the superhuman power, or as a collection of rituals and practices related to the higher power, or as a human's relation to transcendent reality. So it can be about relations, about emotions, about beliefs, or about bonds with community, or about it all at the same time, or only about some elements of it, and so on. Or one of the more complicated definition is just attempt to define religion by enumeration. So we can just list the components of what religion is. So it would be form of structural awareness, including a set of beliefs regarding the genesis, structure, and person, humanity, and the world. That would be religious doctrine, but also related to behaviors, that would be religious culture, and forms of organization, that would be religious institutions. So it's something really hard to define, and it's like a blurry we have only blurred definitions. Everyone feels what religion is, but it's hard to be precise. The groups of definition of religion we can also look definitions of religion by its etymology, so by its source. So one of the possible sources of definition is etymology of the word religion. For example, Cicero defined religion as a diligently obeying what has to do with the worship of the gods, saying that it comes from the word religare, and then religion is just something associated with this. Another definitions, popular in sociology, for example, are defining the structure of religion and defining the religion by its components. For example, Schoenberg said that religion is the relationship between man and the extrovert force expressed in prayer, trust, fear, sacrifice, and ethical behavior. So it's one of the enumeration definitions. We can also look at the sources of religion, so those are genetic definitions, and one of them was provided by Engels, and he defined religion as a fantastic reflection in human hearts of those external forces that govern the everyday existence of people, a reflection in which very earthly forces take the form of heavenly forces. So here, the definition is focused on the source of religion. And finally, in psychology, I believe the most popular definitions are those that are functional definitions. For example, Bateson later in his career proposed another definition of religion than I showed you before. Religion is all we do to deal with the questions we face because we know that we and others like us live and then die. So it's about what the religion does for us. And this is its definition. Okay, so I think I showed that defining religion is a complex problem. So the same is with defining religiosity. And maybe it would be better to look what the components of religion are. First is doctrine. I will be not talking about doctrine today. Doctrine is just a set of beliefs, let's say official beliefs of a given religion. That our priests or chaplains or another holy man would like members of the congregation to believe in. But then we have also faith. So what the given person is believing in, it is not always the same. Sometimes personal beliefs are not in line with official doctrine of given religion. So, for example, some Christians do not believe in hell. So it's not in accordance with official teachings. Then we have also ritual, meaning what we do, what is associated with our religion. Going to temple, praying, reading holy books, and so on. Then we have our religious group. It's also really important in the psychological way. That's the group that we feel part of. That's the group that we can obtain support from, and so on. And finally, we have experiences. So experiences are about feelings and about what we feel in relation to sacred and in relation to spiritual. Okay? So then that was about whole religion, let's say. But I will focus on religiosity. As I mentioned before, religiosity can be understood as a religion on individual level. So religiosity consists of beliefs, behaviors, and experiences. So we have what we do, what we believe in, and what we feel. Those are main components of religions. According to some other authors, for example, according to some group, there are even more components of religiosity. Some group claims that there are four main elements that he calls 4Bs. So it's believing, bonding, behaving, and belonging. Believing is about dogmas and beliefs. Bonding is about experiencing bond with transcendent. Behaving is about what I should do and what I should not do. And belonging is about being a member of a religious community. So you can see that religiosity, even if hard to define, we can understand what it is. We can enumerate its components, for example. So that was the first part of definitional problem. Also, similar problem we have with spirituality. In 2012, I think Palician wrote an article about different definitions of spirituality, and he has found more than 200 of them. And then, 2 years later, he wrote that with every year, at least 10 new definitions of spirituality appear. So today we have probably at least 300 definitions of spirituality in the scientific literature alone. Not talking about popular literature or about religious literature. So also those definitions can vary significantly. For example, spirituality can be defined as a way of dealing with an existential situation that leads to a change in the perspective of perceiving the world, transcending limitations, and even death. Or it can be defined as a searching for a meaning, or as everything we do to deal with our existential situation and to transcend death. Or it can be seen as a process, or sentimental processes that are in an adaptive response to the awareness of a person's existential condition and human ability to go beyond the currently experienced self. Or as transcending existing boundaries of the self and striving for spiritual perfection. So then we have man's ability to transcend to self and strive for ultimate value, or feeling or sense of belief that there is something greater than self, something more to be human than sensory experience, and that the greatest whole of which we are part is cosmic or divine in nature. And so on, and so on, and so on, then we can see different definitions like experiencing personal relationship with God outside the framework of institutional religion, or one of the definitions that are popular in American psychology, form of experiencing personal relationship with Jesus Christ. So you can see that those definitions are totally different. For example, if you take the last definition, then someone who is not Christian cannot be spiritual feelings, right? Because spirituality is about personal bond with Jesus Christ. So this definition is limited to religious doctrine. Some of these definitions are about God or higher power, so they are, let's say, associated with the religion in their nature. Some of them are not. Some of them are about being part of the universe, transcending self, feeling unity with everything that exists. So those would be different kinds of defining spirituality. And when a scientist starts to study spirituality, his decision, which approach he chooses, would influence his results profoundly. Because if we study spirituality as a relationship with Jesus Christ, we could expect totally different results than if we study spirituality as a feeling of being part of the nature of the whole universe, connected with everything that's alive. So I think that it will be no surprise that in such a chaotic environment of definitions, when we have so many approaches to religiosity and to spirituality, it is also hard to say what is the relationship between them. So one of the relations that can be seen in the literature is that the spirituality is part of religiosity. This approach was especially widespread at the beginning of the 20th century. So we're talking, for example, about Christian spirituality, or so as a component of Christian religiosity, or even as Jesuit spirituality, so one kind of the Christian spirituality. So spirituality was seen as a small part of religiosity, those parts of religiosity that is associated with experience. So personal contact with God, for example, would be this element of spirituality. But then it changed, and in the psychological literature, more and more authors claim that it's the other way around, that religiosity is part of spirituality. For example, spirituality is everything that we do that has something to do with transcendent reality, and religiosity is the element of spirituality that is done in the institutional setting. So if it's done in the official religion, then it's religiosity, and outside of official religion, that would be non-religious spirituality, but it all would be spirituality. So for the time being, like in the 70s, I believe it was the most popular approach of the relation between those parallels. But then, yet other authors, especially in the 90s and later, claimed that religiosity and spirituality are the phenomena from the same level, neither is part of the other, and they have some overlapping parts. So one is about feelings and personal relationship with higher reality, for example, or feeling part of something greater than spirituality, and then religiosity is about believing in God or other higher power. So those two things have common core, but also some specifics. But at the same time, other authors propose that religiosity and spirituality are opposites, and they have nothing to do with each other. That it's either religiosity or spirituality. That religiosity is about God, and spirituality is about impersonal, intimate universe. That religiosity is about dogma, and spirituality is about individual feelings and emotions. That religiosity is associated with group beliefs, and spirituality is subjective and individual, and there's nothing common between them. So, as you can see, all possible relations between religiosity and spirituality are present in the scientific literature nowadays. So, it's really hard to integrate all these concepts. So, one of the ways that I have found in my career is to follow Ralph Kepler's definition of spiritual transcendence. He defines spiritual transcendence as the capacity of individuals to stand outside of the immediate sense of time and place to view life from a larger, more objective perspective. In this perspective, one sees fundamental unity underlying the diverse stylings of nature and finds a bonding with others that cannot be severed even by death. Kepler proposed this definition, especially in order to bring some clarity into the field of psychology of religion and spirituality. So he understood spiritual transcendence as a separate domain of personality that cannot be reduced to any combination of other personality traits. And as another personality trait, spiritual transcendence is universal. It's present in every human being on the world. And it can express itself to religious means, but also to another. For example, one highly spiritual person would express spirituality to pray to God and feel bond with God. And another highly spiritual person would express spirituality to art, for example, or to feeling of connection to an environment and protecting trees or something like that. So there are many ways in which spirituality can be expressed. So, according to this theory, there are three main phases of spirituality, three main components, one might say. First is prayer fulfillment, this feeling of joy and contentment that is happening during prayer or meditation. Second would be universality, it's believed that all life is intimately tied together, that every living being is interconnected. And third would be connectedness. Connectedness is about feeling that one is a part of large human orchestra, and that we have bonds with other people, with those people that were living before us, with those that will live in the future, and with those that are living right now, and that those bonds cannot be severed even by death. So we have these three main components. In my work, I distinguish two main forms of spiritual transcendence. One would be religious spiritual transcendence. So those elements of spiritual transcendence that have something to do with God or with belief in beliefs about afterlife or beliefs about soul and so on. And the second part would be non-religious spiritual transcendence. Those are those parts of spiritual transcendence that are not associated with beliefs in God, soul, or afterlife. And I think that this non-religious spiritual transcendence is what many people call spirituality. So spirituality in the narrow sense is the part of spiritual transcendence that is not associated with religiosity. Okay, so in my opinion, there's a mistake, so there should be just spiritual transcendence. So in my opinion, in spiritual transcendence, we have a religious component and this non-religious component. Okay, and this religious component is in fact common core of religiosity and spiritual transcendence. So let's say pure spirituality would be here. Pure spirituality not having the same elements as religiosity. Okay, so that would be the main definitions that I wanted to share with you, because I think that clearly defining what I understand as spirituality and religiosity and what's the relation between them is most important before talking about the relation with other variables. Because there's so many definitions in the field. Okay, the second variable that was second set of variables that were of interest for me were elements of so-called professional quality of life. According to Stamm, there are two main components of quality of life in the professional setting, and one of them then has two subcomponents. So we have positive element that is compassion satisfaction. That is satisfaction that results from working with other people, helping them, doing something for them. So when I, for example, I'm a teacher at school, and I teach my pupils and I see that they learn something, I'm satisfied with this. Or if I'm a psychologist and I help someone to overcome trauma, I feel compassion satisfaction. But at the same time, professionals helping other people, because it's about professionals helping other people, can also feel something called compassion fatigue. And compassion fatigue has two main components, those negative feelings associated with helping others. First of them is burnout. I would describe it in more details, but you know what burnout is. Right? So I will tell you to this, the feeling that I cannot do what I wanted, that it does not bring joy to me, that I feel overwhelmed with my work, and so on and so on. It does not make sense. And the second component of compassion fatigue would be secondary trauma. Secondary trauma is about being traumatized, but what happens to people I'm helping. For example, if I see someone dying on my hands, I'm for example, a doctor, and someone dies on my hands, then I'm traumatized by it. So I believe that you know very well that professional burnout, as described in the ICD-11, is syndrome resulting from work-related chronic stress, which has not been adequately addressed, and that burnout has three main dimensions: emotional exhaustion, lack of energy, emotional detachment from work, and all negativity and severe disposition towards it, and lower performance at work. Secondary trauma is sometimes also called vicarious trauma, and it is the, as I told you, it is the trauma experienced by helper as a result of contact with and the responsibility for traumatized clients. And it can be either graduated in nature, so day by day I see the poor people and their lives, how miserable they are, and I'm growing more and more traumatized by it. Or it can also be a result of severe traumatizing events, like someone dying on my hands, for example. So there are two main forms of its source. And the positive element of the professional quality of life is this compassion satisfaction. So it's a fulfillment in one's work as a helper associated with post-traumatic growth, because it's, we have hard feelings at work, but then we overcome it and we develop as a person, and this may result in greater appreciation of own life, positive evaluation of life priorities, better and deeper social relationships, spiritual and philosophical development, greater sense of personal strength. So you can see that it has a lot of positive correlations. So I was interested, we were interested in studying the relationship between spirituality, religiosity, and professional quality of life. We thought also about possible mediating variable, and we were thinking that maybe engagement in the work at hand would serve us as such mediators. So we also used in our research the work engagement measure, according to the theory of Schoffelli. Work engagement consists of three main dimensions. First is absorption. It's a little bit more negative dimension of work engagement. It's about concentrating even too much on one's work, and concentrating fully on what I'm doing, even to the exclusion of other duties. FIGO, second and probably most positive, FIGO is the most active part of the work engagement. Is about having energy, effort, doing a lot, investing a lot of effort into task at hand. And finally, dedication is about our enthusiasm, about that we feel that our work is meaningful and we want to engage in it. So, what we know for now, before our study, what was known about the relationship between religiosity, spirituality, and compassion fatigue was that probably religiosity and spirituality are associated positively with compassion satisfaction and negatively with compassion fatigue. But as I will talk to you soon, it was not all so obvious. So we know, for example, that high spiritual beliefs and high religious beliefs are associated with lower levels of burnout among health professionals. We know also that there is a negative relationship between spirituality and burnout among healthcare professionals. We know that workplace spirituality is associated with lower burnout. We also know that spirituality and religiosity are protective factors against compassion fatigue among trauma therapists and other healthcare professionals. So there are more and more reasons like that, but most of them, as you can probably see, is about health professionals, nurses, paramedics, therapists, and also the last is that is about clergy. So most of the studies of this field were conducted on healthcare spirituality. We have several problems that we wanted to address with our study. First is that while we know something about religiosity, there were considerable number of studies on religiosity and burnout, for example, in the United States, then there is considerably lower number of studies on spirituality. Second, very few studies, in fact I show you all that I could find, very few studies measure religiosity and spirituality separately at the same time. So it is hard to disentangle their effects, because if you measure religiosity by 5 items, one of which is I'm a spiritual person, and this is measure of religiosity, then it's hard to say what would be the effect of spirituality and religiosity if you separate them. That problem is that, as I showed you, majority of the studies are conducted in the healthcare setting. And there were a few studies, I found 2 of them, that were conducted in the military setting, but one of them was conducted on military healthcare professionals, and the second was conducted on military chaplains. So we are still limited to healthcare professionals and to the clergy. And the last problem is that in almost each of the studies, different measures of spirituality was used. Sometimes it was a good measure, but not often. Sometimes it was one item measure. I am a spiritual person. But everyone can understand something else by being a spiritual person. So we are asking about individual definition of spirituality at the same time. Different people can have the same high level of, for example, connectedness to the world, but interpreted as spirituality or not. So answer the question, are you a spiritual person? Means not much in this field. And also, some measures are confounding spirituality with well-being. So, for example, there's a scale of workplace spirituality, and one of the items in this scale is my spirituality gives me a lot of meaning of life, something like that. But this question measures spirituality and meaning of life at the same time. The meaning of life is component of well-being. So some of the questions used in popular questionnaires measure spirituality and well-being at the same time. So when we see that spirituality is associated negatively with burnout, maybe we are just seeing that well-being is associated negatively with burnout. That should be obvious. And so this positive correlation between spirituality and negative correlation between spirituality and burnout that was found in previous studies often may be the result of the scales used, that those scales just confound those variables. Okay, so this is why we wanted to conduct our study, that in our opinion is without those problems, that we wanted to not get into them. And our study was conducted with a special group of people, also called Territorial Defense Forces. Territorial Defense Forces is a new branch of Polish military forces. It was created less than 10 years ago, and it's in theory is the fifth branch. We have the land army, we have navy, we have air forces, we have the fourth one, I forgot what it was, sorry, and then we have this Territorial Defense Forces. So we have five main branches of military. Territorial Defense Forces, Territorial Defense Forces is special mostly because its soldiers are not full-time soldiers. Those are people that are performing active military service on a rotational basis. So they spend few days in the military unit, and those are days free from the regular work, and then they go back to the regular work. So, for example, like every month they spend 6 days in the military unit, for example, or every week they spend 2 days in the military unit, things like that. It is at least once a month, so you can imagine that some people are only spending a few days every month in the military service. So it is special, so it's not full-time, it's not about full-time soldiers. And the mission of these Territorial Defense Forces during times of peace is helping in different matters. So they help to counteract theaters of natural disasters, they help during the pandemic times, they help during some kind of when we have flood, they also help people, they help to build hospitals and do things like that. So we conducted our study on the Territorial Defense Forces on the soldiers involved in something that was called Operation Lasting Immunity. This was operation conducted during the second wave of COVID pandemic, in which thousands of Territorial Defense soldiers were included. They were reinforcing public services during this hard pandemic time, and they helped in numerous ways. They assumed critical roles in the healthcare sector. So, for example, they fill up all the papers so the doctors can focus on their medical duties. They also maintain all the vaccination points so that they were standing guard and looking that everyone is moving as they should and there are no problems with people. They also assist the police in quarantine and hospital duties. For example, bringing people back to their houses when they wanted to leave. They replace infected staff in elderly care homes, and they also facilitate the communication between infected people and their families, and more and more and more, because the forms of duties they were involved in were really numerous. So our sample consists of soldiers who participated in the operation for at least 14 days, and there were 242 of them. We used short measures of spirituality and religiosity, and also scale of work and mental engagement and emotional quality of life. And First, we can look at the zero-order correlation. We can see that religiosity and spirituality were moderately positively associated with each other. This is the results that we often obtain in our studies. Then you can see that both religiosity and spirituality were associated negatively with burnout and positively with compassion satisfaction. None of them were associated with secondary trauma. Also, the engagement in work was not associated with secondary trauma. It is probably because the level of secondary trauma in this study was low. We have the effect of the surface. We have the surface effect because this particular duty was not really traumatic. They were not helping dying people or something like that. They were just maintaining order and filling papers. So you can imagine that there was not many secondary trauma. And we have also found that engagement was associated strongly positively with compassion satisfaction and strongly and moderately negatively with burnout. But as we wanted to look at the data in more advanced way, so we conducted structural equation modeling with the religiosity and spirituality as predictors, with the components of professional quality of life as dependent variables, and with engagement as a mediator. At first, we wanted to use three elements of engagement as separate variables. So we have this absorption, vigor, and the third one that I forgot about. So we have three elements of engagement, but they were correlated with each other on 0.9. So there was no sense in putting them as separate variables, so we had just one variable of being engaged in the task at hand. As you can see, both religiosity and spirituality predicted positively higher level of engagement. And higher level of engagement predicted positively compassion satisfaction and negatively burnout. They were not, sorry, direct paths between religiosity, spirituality, burnout, and compassion satisfaction were not present. So whole effect of religiosity and spirituality was mediated by engagement in task at work. And you can also note that none of these variables was associated with secondary trauma, but secondary trauma, as it showed, was associated positively with burnout. They are components of the same compassion fatigue. Okay, so you can see the parts of the previous diagram, but here you can see strength of the effect of religiosity and spirituality on the given components of professional quality of life. You can see that they have really small effect on burnout and slightly higher, but also small effect on compassion satisfaction. Also, the strength of the relation between religiosity and spirituality and those variables did not differ. So religiosity is associated with the same strength with them that spirituality is. Okay, so please move forward. So I told you this story. From the, let's say, from the perspective of the variables, how religiosity is associated with something, how spirituality is associated with something. But in the real life, we cannot observe variables, we can observe people. So what we did in the second stage, let's say, was trying to look at types of people that we can find in our research. And we conducted two-step cluster analysis with religiosity and spirituality. We have found that basically we have three types of soldiers in our study. First of them had higher levels of both religiosity and spirituality, so we called them, of course, religious and spiritual. Second group had high levels of religiosity but low levels of spirituality, so we called them religious but not spiritual. And the third group had low levels of both religiosity and spirituality. You can see that there were no people with high levels of spirituality but low levels of religiosity, and it's also something that is recurring in the Polish studies, that in our studies we seldom found people with high spirituality but low religiosity. Okay, so Then, when we compare our three groups of people in terms of compassion, satisfaction, and burnout, we can see some small but statistically significant differences. So, people who are religious and spiritual are having more higher compassion satisfaction than two other groups of people. Also, people who are both religious and spiritual have lower levels of burnout than two other groups of people. So we may say that being religious is not enough, because religious people were as burned out and have as low compassion satisfaction as people low on both religiosity and spirituality. But people who had both religiosity and spirituality felt better. Okay? We can, of course, look at the data in even more person-centered way, because we can also look how people reacted to the work, and when we conduct cluster analysis on the satisfaction fatigue and on the satisfaction, on the compassion fatigue and on the compassion satisfaction, then we have found that there are once more three types of people. So we have these 53 people were satisfied with the work. 101 persons were neither satisfied or fatigued with their work, and 68 persons were fatigued with their work. So we have like three types of results. And so when it finished, we had three types of people with different resulting symptoms. So when we then look at the association with the clusters, we can say that we have fully looked at the person, not at the variable. So among the religious and spiritual people, 36% of them were satisfied with the work, 42% were not fatigued but also not satisfied, and 22% were fatigued and not satisfied with the work. And you can see that in other groups, it's worse. That, for example, among people that are religious but not spiritual, only 15% were satisfied with their work and not burnout. So we can see that belonging to the religious and spiritual group predicted that the probability of this person having good adjustment to the work was higher. And among people that were religious but not spiritual, the situation was the worst. So there was the highest probability of being fatigued by the work that they have undertaken. Okay, so it seems, at least from the variable point of view, but not necessarily from the personal point of view, that spirituality and religiosity had similar but independent effects on burnout and compassion satisfaction during lasting unit operation. Second, this relation was fully mediated by engagement. But when we look through the lens of typological approach, it seems that being spiritual is more important than being religious. Because being only religious does not help. It even predicts worse adjustment than being neither spiritual nor religious. Okay, of course, our work had many limitations. Those limitations, in my opinion, were different than the limitations of the previous studies. For example, we used well-established measures of religiosity and spirituality, so we are happy about this. But we had other limitations. For first, our soldiers do a lot of jobs, let's say, or participate in a lot of different operations. So we don't know whether what we found was specific for being soldier or whether it was specific for this kind of operation. Because this operation was specific, it was low arousal. For the most of the time, there was standing and guarding or filling up papers. So it was rather boring, probably. So maybe there was no place for field trauma or something like that, but also not too much place for enthusiasm. So how we don't know how we could do most stimulating and dangerous tasks. My PhD student is trying to collect data on this, and he already collected data on the military on the participants in the more militant operations, so participants involved in the problems at the border of our country, but those data are classified, so we cannot show them, and the generals forbid us to use and show them, so I cannot talk about this. And another problem was that our sample were not full-time soldiers. They were terror defenders, so they were part-time volunteers. So we are not sure whether this would generalize to full-time soldiers. Of course, we are also not sure how it would generalize to other services. For example, how it would look like for policemen or for firefighters. And we are now starting to collect data on firefighters. We hope to see similar results, then we will know that it generalized well. And last but not least, of course, the results were collected only in police sample. So we have no idea how it would look. We are not sure whether it would look the same in the military of other countries or not. We suppose that it should look similar, but cannot be sure about it. No final stuff? Okay. Okay, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your enlightening keynote. Now we are open for the question and answer session. So if anybody would like to ask a question.
Good afternoon, sir. As per your pie chart, religious is more. Why it is religious more in Poland?
Sorry?
As per your pie chart, you have shown religious is more, high percentage compared to other two. Getting that? In that pie chart, you have shown religious is more, have more percentage, right?
Okay, sorry. So, could you show this one?
You asked the question.
Can you show this? I do not remember it by heart, sorry, so I just have to look at it. First part.
Pie chart. Single one. Orange. Yeah, that's one. Yeah, that's. Yeah, this one.
Yeah. The same thing.
Mr. I believe that we have more than half of people that were. So, no, it's not. This is this one. Can you show it to me? I will tell this. Okay, I'm sorry for this. So, we can say that. Okay. So we can say that about 1/3 of our sample was religious but not spiritual. The second 1/3 was religious and spiritual, and the 1/3 was neither religious and not spiritual. It's just about 1/3. Yes, so you can see that the group of religious but not spiritual was slightly more, but that's like 3 similar in number.
Because I'm surprised because you have taken the military samples, no?
Yeah,
Yeah,
those are
that's right. There's a different mindset in a military system. So compared to that, I'm asking this question because the religion is showing the even person. That's why.
Yes. So yes.
Yeah, because we are we are pursuing through psychological manner, no? That's what, that's showing religious more in a military system.
Yes. Also, we just measure religiosity. We are not asking them, are you a religious person? So it's, if you ask them, are you a Christian, for example, I believe that most of them would answer yes. But when we ask them how much they are involved in the religion, you can see the results that the religiosity itself is mild. Yeah? So they are not like deeply religious.
Thank you.
Pass the mic.
Hello. I just wanted to know if you used any psychometric scales for this research?
Psychometric scales.
Yeah. Any tools, measures?
Can you move to the list of measures used in this study? No, before, earlier, even before this. Yes. So yes, we used only scales that had good psychometric qualities. So we used the shorter version of Piedmont scale to measure spiritual transcendence only in its non-religious form. So we measured components of universality and connectedness. Then we measured religiosity using 3-item scale created by Latitude Flair. We measured your engagement with the ultra-fourier engagement scale. This scale consists of 17 items and it works well in general in Poland. It was adapted and it is used in the organizational setting, but in fact we are not fully sure whether it matches the specific of military service well, because it's typically used in general work. And then we have this professional quality of life scale. It consists of 30 items measuring those three components of professional quality of life.
In this study, in the pie chart, you showed 3 groups. My question is, why do you think there's nobody who is spiritual but not religious?
So we first we started with the statistical procedure of scaling. Yes, so we have the procedure of founding those 3 clusters of people, and then the statistical procedure only numbers them. So we knew we can cluster 1, 2, and 3. But then we used another procedure to compare means of religiosity and spirituality among them. And the first group was high on religiosity and spirituality, the second group was high on religiosity and low on spirituality, and the third group was low on both of those constants. So we just checked. But we knew that there are 3 groups of people, and then we looked how those 3 groups differ. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now we call upon Professor Srinivas sir and Dr. Soumya Shrima to felicitate our keynote speaker. I call upon Dr. Rohini Shivananda also to join us. Thank you everyone. We will be starting our valedictory session after a few seconds. Sorry, it's like a few minutes. We are just waiting for the arrival of our registrar of evaluation. So once after he comes, we'll start our session.
Two minutes ಬರ್ತೀನಿ
We welcome Dr. Srinivas Saurabha, Registration and Navigation, Kanpur University. We welcome you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. We request our dignitaries, Dr. Srinivas Chavrapal Sir, Professor Srinivas Sir, Dr. Soumyashri K. Ma'am, and Dr. Rohini Shivananda Ma'am, please come on stage.
Thank you, sir. Now we reach the end of our insightful today's conference on mental health at workplace. Now I request Dr. Mohan sir to present the conference report.
Respected dignitaries on the dais and after dais and dear participants, I will read the report of the 2 days international conference. To mark the 50th year of Golden Jubilee celebration of the Department of Psychology, a 2 days international conference on the theme of mental health at workplace was held on 26-27 September 24 at MS Timappa Seminar Hall, Department of Psychology, and PUP. On 26 September, the conference was inaugurated by our esteemed Vice Chancellor, Dr. Professor J. Kara SN, Registrar Sheikh Latif Sir, Chairman, Department of Psychology, Professor Srinivas, Organizing Secretary, Dr. Someshri K. Honorable Keynote Speaker, Dr. Shanmugh P. Kamble, Professor Dr. Geeta Petrovska and Petrovsky. 26 being the first day of the conference, gathered over 100 participants and presenters from all over the country. The inaugural program was followed by an essential and insightful keynote address by Dr. Zameta Petrovska, Professor Cardinal Stephen University, Poland, on the topic or narcissists happy at work. Insight from 2 models of narcissism, the scientific sessions commenced from 2 p.m. in 6 sessions rooms with students, accommodations, scholars and professionals presenting their research studies. Participants and panelists engaged in fruitful discussions in these sessions. Scientific sessions were followed by an enriching talk about brain, emotion, resilience, and by Dr. Keshav Kumar, Professor, Department of Clinical Psychology, NIMAS. The one was concluded with cultural programs in honor of the guests with performance such as Ekshagana, Pushpanjali, Sriman Narayana, Sarin Daru, Janapada Geeta, Fusion Dance, and Dundu Kunita. On 27th September, the session was started with the keynote speaker, Dr. Shanmugh P. Kamble, Professor, Karnataka University, Dharwad, on the essential topic of thriving together, strategies for enhancing mental health at work. This was followed by scientific sessions held in 6 sessions rooms at 3 p.m. The keynote address was delivered by Professor Petrovsky, Canadian Stafford University, Poland, on the topic of association between religiosity, spirituality, and burnout among territorial defense force soldiers. We extend our sincere gratitude to our distinguished guests, speakers, participants, organizing committee, and volunteers for making this conference a great success. We look forward to organizing more such events and continuing our journey to promote mental health awareness. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We are honored to have our registrar evaluation from Bangalore University. Now I would like to call upon Dr. Chaudappa sir. He is a professor in Department of Microbiology and Biotechnology, Bangalore University. He has 36 publications in various reputed journals. He is a life member of Indian Society of Mycology, Udaipur, Rajasthan, Society of Biological Chemists, IISc, Bangalore, Indian Science Congress Association, Kolkata, and various other professional associations. I would request Professor Srinivas Chaudappa sir to please come and address the gathering.
Good afternoon to
dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, Professor Srinivas, Chairman of the department, and dignitaries from different parts of the country and outside country, and dignitaries from the Poland. Good evening, respected dignitaries, esteemed organizers, distinguished speakers, and dear delegates. It is a great honor for me to be here as a chief guest of the valedictory session of this esteemed international psychology conference. What I feel that the topic is very appropriate: mental health at workplace. When it comes to the terminology of health, we always look into the body size and the bodybuilding and doing exercise and keeping our health in a good condition. But this is very important. Mental health at workplace. Even I would like to request Professor Srinivas to conduct mental health in home also. That is very much required and appropriate today's situation. Always your behavior and your attitude at the present situation is based on your mental health. Thank you, the organizers, for inviting as the chief guest and for their efforts in organizing the event. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to the organizing committee for this privilege and creating such a remarkable platform for psychologists worldwide to exchange knowledge and insights. This conference has proven once again how crucial field of psychology is understanding the human mind. So what I feel that over the years, the department has traveled 50 years and done extremely good work in the field of psychology, and it has a renowned department and it has its own credentials in Bangalore University. And the department is also added to the growth of the Bangalore University. At present, psychology is a separate domain. It has its own credentials. Promoting mental well-being and addressing the psychological challenges of our times, especially in the world that is evolving at an unprecedented pace. Over the past 2 days, witnessed extraordinary research presentation. I hope that extraordinary research presentation, powerful discussion on mental health in a diverse context and innovative approaches to the psychological treatment and interventions. The global participation in this conference highlights the universal nature of the issues we face in psychology. It is also reminds us that solutions to these challenges require collaborative efforts transcending the geographical and cultural boundaries. Your insights into the current state of psychology and its future. Example, psychology as a field of expanding its origins from cognitive neurosciences to the positive psychology, from behavioral interventions to the digital mental health. Why I am telling this? Nowadays, the behavior and the things are very, very important. I don't know much about the psychology, but I can understand the mental health and behavior in appropriate way. Nowadays, what is happening? Students always, I am a register of evaluation. Always my position is very hard, and my seat is very hard seat. So because students always come with problems. So students come with problem, many students. For 40, out of 40 as a passing marks, some students they get 27, 37, 38. So they always come in tension. Sir, I got 37, my passing marks is 40. Can you help me to get another 3 marks? So there is no project to give 3 marks. But you see the students is always their intention. As I am interacting with my neighbors and my friends and my family friends, even in my families, I have seen that
Always parents is also in tension. Always you ask anybody, many of you ask that, I am always in worry, I am always in tension. And during the examination also students are in tension. I don't know why they are in tension. Exams will always come, supplementary exams and main exams. Don't be tense. You ask any parent, sir, not tension why? My daughter writing 5th standard examination. The daughter writing 5th standard examination, my parent is tension. You ask any parent or student, sir, I am writing my examination, I am in degree, I am in tension. If you take a tension, there is a problem in central government, government of India, union government. If you take tension, there is no pension. So you will retire or you will go off before retiring. See, always that's what mental health is very, very important. See, that's what psychology, because of increasing the population, psychology domain is also increasing with so many associated with so many problems, sociological problems, other issues. So this growth is reflection of our expanding understanding of the human experience and positions psychology at the forefront and societal transformation, encourage innovation and progress, motivate the audience to continue pursuing the boundaries of research and treatment and application. Today's world, where the mental health is increasingly recognized as an integral well-being, psychologists like you are not just a researchers or a clinicians, you are the agents of exchange. I want to share a few things about the Indian contest. In 2024, best country to live is, without doubt, it is India. Because why? Population of 142 crores, we are interested about the quality of our population. And 40% is below the age of 25 years. Around 60 crores are below the age of 25 years. Imagine that next 100 years, India will become the human capital. So all CEOs, doctors, engineers, psychologists, researchers are from this country. So that's what the mental health is very, very important. If you have a good mental health, your growth is also will progress. And your energy and passion have been driving force behind this successful event. Organizers, I am confident that knowledge and collaboration nurtured during this 2 days conference will continue to inspire and drive progress in the field of psychology. I thank you all once again for your dedication and commitment to the science and practice of psychology. Thank you, Vanantha. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Srinivas Chodappa, sir. Now I request Professor Srinivas Muniappa to please give moment to Professor Srinivas Chodappa, sir, as a token of gratitude on behalf of Department of Psychology, Bangalore University.
Thank you, sir. Now I call upon Professor Srinivas sir to address the gathering.
Everyone, namaskara. Good afternoon, all. Respected additional evaluation, Professor Srinivas Chodappa, Organizing Secretary Dr. Someshri, Organization Committee member Dr. Rohini, and other organizing committee members, resource persons, Dr. Shanu, Dr. Keshav, resource persons from Poland, Dr. Jaroslav, Dr. Angelina, delegates from various parts of the country, research scholars, students, well-wishers. I'm extremely happy to participate in this validity function. At same time, the encouraging words from our respected regional evaluation. As you know, in the initial stages also I explained that they out of the handling, especially in administrative work, especially if you take the Bangalore University evaluation, that evaluation center itself is very complicated these things. In this connection, implementation of any latest programs like upgrading and introducing some latest technology, it's the credits go to our honorable registrar, because it's very complicated. Previously, manually we used to do the evaluation in the respective departments. Now everything is digitalized. All evaluators used to come there and evaluate in one place, and we will complete the process in time. Otherwise, as a department chairman, we used to find difficult. This is a difficult task as such, because it's huge. So whatever the things now in university happens, the blame comes to actually risk evaluation only. If for this one, enormous patience is required. In this direction, definitely I thank you to you, sir, for exercising that enormous patience as such. So that's what in the past 2 days, the deliberation was took place, especially related in this area, and most of the youngsters, I received the feedback that the scientific sessions were excellent, and we individually also, everybody came and appreciated the thing, the sessions, and the same time, the food and facilities, all these things. I extend my sincere thanks to all the organizing committee members and organizing secretary, Dr. Someshri, and all the faculty members. It's difficult for me to mention all the faculty members' names, and especially I thank all the students. First semester MSc, second semester, the second year MSc, first semester counseling psychology, and second year counseling psychology students, and also research scholars. Extensively they have done the work, and this hope this conference made success. So because the feedback what we received the things. So in this connection, once again I extend sincere thanks to each one of you for active participation. Hope you received the enough information, and definitely you can implement in your respective area as such. I wish safe journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I request all dignitaries to come forward to give away the certificate for our sponsors. Firstly, I would like to call upon a representative from Prudence Group of Institution. Prudence Group of Institution. Thank you. Next, I would like to call upon a representative from Floating Bags. Floating Bags.
I request representatives from Vasantha. Thank you so much for your generous contribution to the conference. Addiction Recovery Center. Thank you for your generous contribution. I request representatives from Recovery Camps to please come on stage and take the moment. Thank you so much, Mr. Manjunath, for your generous contribution. I request representative from Floating Tax to please take the moment too. Thank you from the Department of Technology for your generous contribution to the conference. Next Stage Nutrition, representative from Next Stage Nutrition. Representative from Rashtriya Prabhutva Seva. Thank you so much for your contribution to the conference. Representatives from Inferno Management. Next, I want to call upon representatives from electronic media to please collect the moment though from BU. Thank you for covering us all.
Now we are waiting for that exciting session, and it's time to present our certificates for the best papers. So I wanted to call upon
Rupashri N. Murthy presented on examining the impact of contextual resources on career resilience of women professionals.
examining the impact of contextual resources.
I request for Rupashri to please handle.
I would like to call on Sindhu S. and Sindhu M. for presenting the paper on work and family conflicts among women employees in teaching, nursing, and family professionals. Next, I would like to call upon Dr. Geeta for taking in mind balancing the risks and benefits of digital tools for mental health. Next, I would like to call upon Divija Khanwal for workplace spirituality, organizational citizenship behavior, and psychological ownership. I would also like to call upon Anthal Banerjee for the paper title for the relationship between gratitude and mental health of an employee. Next, I would like to call upon Elros Varghese for presenting the paper on psychological capital organization, citizenship behavior, and work-related form of IT employees. And we are done with the first day paper presentation. Now we'll move on for the second day's paper presentation, that is today. I would like to call upon Manisha Patel for presenting the paper From Job to Joy. Manisha Patel. From Job to Joy, how job crafting and engagement strategies influence faculty fulfillment in academic. Next, I would like to call upon Aditi Arangat. Aditi Arangat for presenting the paper, The Relationship Between Teachers' Anxiety and Creative Motivation in High School and Higher Secondary Teachers. Next, I would like to call upon Angel Teresa Vincent. Angel Teresa Vincent, Associated Education and Coping Strategies among Police. I would also like to call upon Aparna Sai for presenting the paper Sleep Eating Attitude and Mental Health on Shift Workers. And all these three papers have been guided by Dr. Brinda Muniappa. We have thrown an honored ma'am. Next, I would like to call upon Vital Hanumanta Sai Ambati Patel for presenting the paper on mindfulness and self-care practices as predictory of well-being of healthcare providers.
We request Dr. Swami Shri ma'am, organizing secretary of the 2 days conference on mental health and workplace, to please come on stage for the closing address and vote of thanks.
Good afternoon. Respected audience on the dais, it is with great joy and gratitude that I stand before you today to deliver the vote of thanks to mark the success and conclusion of the 2 days international conference on mental health at workplace held by the Department of Psychology. I would like to extend my gratitude to our esteemed Vice Chancellor, Professor Dr. Jaikar Shetty M. Sir, for his support and guidance. My thanks to the Registrar Sri Sheikh Latif Sir and Professor Srinivas Registrar Evaluation for their administrative support, ensuring the smooth conduct of the entire program. A special thanks to our chairman, Dr. Srinivas M. for constant motivating us and encouraging the department to host this international conference. Our heartfelt gratitude to our distinguished keynote speaker, Professor Piotraska and Professor Piotraski and Dr. Shantu Kamble sir. Your presentation over the past 2 days provided remarkable insights into the complex interplay between personality, well-being and mental health in the workplace. Thank you to all our speakers for their thought-provoking contributions. A special thanks to chairpersons of each scientific sessions room for dedicating your time and expertise in selecting the best paper presentations. Your efforts have not gone unnoticed and have greatly contributed to the academic rigor of this conference. Inferno Event Management, thank you for providing the selfie booth. Manoj and team, thank you for helping us organize lights, audiovisual setups and stage decoration. Your contribution has played a crucial role in bringing life to the conference. To the performing arts of arts students, your contribution to the cultural events on the 26th September 2024 added a vibrant and refreshing touch to our gathering. Thank you for your hard work and creativity. I would like to take a moment to sincerely thank our sponsors, Floating Bags, Recovering Cats, Prudence Group of Institution, Mind Care, Next Stage Nutrition, Bodhisattva Trust, Rashtriya Prabhutva Seva and Psychotronics for their generous support in making this conference possible. Your contribution has played a significant role in ensuring the smooth execution of this event, allowing us to bring together experts and professionals from around the world to share valuable thoughts. Thank you the electronic media, especially the Mr. Dr. Chanakya for covering and live streaming the international conference sessions. We are also deeply grateful to all the presenters and participants who have brought their research and perspectives, making this conference a rich learning experience for all. Lastly, I extend my heartfelt thanks to the students, faculties and non-teaching staffs of the Department of Psychology, Bangalore University for all your constant support and participation. Your commitment made all the difference. Thank you all. Thank you once again to everyone who contributed to the success of this event. Together we have made this conference a memorable and impactful experience. I look forward to the future collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you all and all who are present here. So after the ID, the certificates for each and everyone will be provided at the counter of registration. So you can collect the certificates from there. And also, we would like to get a feedback on the event. Upon Mr. Vithil.
Academicians. At the outset, I would like to thank Professor Srinivas sir and Saurashri ma'am for giving me this opportunity to take part in this conference. There were a lot of learnings, takeaways and learnings from this conference, especially from the session of Professor Shanmu Kamble sir. You actually very beautifully described the difference between thriving together and the earlier notion of just surviving. That was excellent. And I would like to thank Professor Magdalena and Dr. Jarcelo, who came all the way from Poland to give us a new perspective with robust research. And I congratulate the faculty of Department of Psychology who led from the front, and the research scholars and students who were live wire, who were electric right from the start till now. So thank you one and all. And the hospitality was excellent. The food and the accommodation were very well taken care of. Yeah, thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to call upon Mr. Brito from the Christ University. Mr. Brito. Christ University.
Good evening, everyone. I'm representing Christ University Yeshwanthpur campus on behalf of the Department of Psychology. And I just feel so happy on these 2 days where our students have learned many intellectual knowledge on the mental health of workplace. So all the these 2 days was so well organized. The hospitality was extremely well, and all the scientific papers that's been presented was useful for all the students. I congratulate for the Department of Psychology and for organizers for it. But I also have a request so that in the future, the request is after post-pandemic, we are having many online conference which will not be benefited for many students. So I request organization to make many other conference seminars for intellectual knowledge. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. We are done with the session. So, as after the break, you can collect the certificates from the registration counter. Thank you.